Hey, welcome or welcome back. In this project, we're going to go through the process of converting this into this. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about this janky Mox and Vice situation I got going on. I am using this plane to set the height, so the plane and my workboard are coplanar with each other. And I have my tails board with the tape to act as a little ridge, and what I have to do is line it up, set a fence on here or the other side, just so they're reference off the same side, make lines and cut. So this is where I have to cut the waist out. I removed most of the waste on the bandsaw because I'm not a masochist. Um, but I just gotta cut these off and then start chopping. So I've got these pins cut. Now I'm just trying to fit the tails board to it, and I have my pins here marked with pencils, so as I fit I can see where the two pieces rub, and then I can take away material there until I'm happy with the fit. This is very close to fitting, which actually might be. I'm not going to fully seat it since I'm going to have to take this thing apart and do some more work on this, but that is a pretty good fit for me. I have this assembled temporarily. I needed to know the inside dimensions to fit this inner face that I have made up, which is obviously oversized and will need some refining, but I know where I'm going to cut my dados to inset this panel. I have my lines marked out for the opening for where the controls are going to be on the front, so I have to take this thing back apart and cut some grooves out. This is the top piece, and then there's going to be a cutaway here for the controls. But so I need to do some stop dados, which I have marked out here. So I need to cut a groove up to this point, and then from this point to the end here. Okay, so I have all my little slots, mortises, whatever you want to call them, cut out. This one I needed the stop dados because that face panel will kind of have a cutout like so. So the front panel fits into all the grooves. Now I have to cut it down to size, width-wise, height-wise, and then work out the actual opening for the controls. So I shaped the opening of the front panel, and this whole amplifier is in there upside down right now. So I have to figure out where the mounting holes go, drill those out, and then I will be able to mount the amplifier to the actual box. So I have the holes drilled and the amp fits. So now I can figure out a shape for this cutaway here, because this is just would be annoying to try to change the controls with all this extra wood covering them. So I have my cutaway marked out here. So this needs to go. So I have this set up on the table saw, a little bit of weight on the front to just keep this thing down. And I'm going to turn the saw on, raise the blade, and then move it to match this line up with this line, and then I'll have to cut the rest by hand, but this should give me a straight line across. Have just a quick dry assembly to make sure everything fits. So the amplifier mounts. I don't have any gaps under here that I can see. And with this cutaway now you can turn all the controls without the top of it interfering with your hand. This is the top of the face panel where I need to route 3/4 round over profile here, but I don't want to route away everything since this little portion is inset into the top board, so I'm going to be really careful to not hit that. And this is what I had in mind. It looks like it meets real well. So I have this thing assembled again really quickly just to make sure this all fits. I have to mount the reverb tank, and one thing I was thinking about was trying to mount it in a way where even if the amplifier itself is mounted, it'll be possible to remove with like a short stubby screwdriver. So I have it laid out. I got some lines, I've got some squares set to the appropriate depth. Now I have to take this thing apart again and drill these holes. I have the back panel glued up, same as I did the front face, and this is just assembled dry, so I made this whole thing oversized. Now I have to smash this thing back apart and start sanding the insides. So this is going to be a stressful glue up. This has to be glued into these slots as well as everything all at once. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'm going to put a round over with the router over everything, but I have these little sacrificial pieces clamped here because the router is going to go this way and I don't want it to blow this end out. I am going to finish all the sides of this all at once, so here is my high-tech solution to hold it. So I'm going to do the bottom, then I'll flip it around, and then I will hang it on this and finish the top.